Let's talk about Jrue Holiday. There are reports that Dallas may be interested in a trade to acquire him. One, what do you two think of him being in Dallas? But two, where would and if is it possible that the Celtics would even benefit from a trade with them?
What you think about this, Gary? Talk about
What?
your boy Jrue.
Well, I think if you're going to move Jrue, and that's a possibility, you're going to have to take less salary back, in turn, because Dallas is looking for like a floor length. Remember, Kyrie Irving is out with the ACL, so he might not be back till the deep into the
January,
second half.
maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, deep into the second half of next year. Now, if you're the Celtics, Jrue makes 32, 33 million next year. You could take back two guys in the final years of their deal. PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. If I'm the Celtics, I seriously consider that deal because you're getting a rim protector in Gafford and you're getting younger with Washington. I'm not a huge Washington guy. I think he doesn't come through as much in the clutch, but you're not looking for him to be your A1 or or B1 option. You're looking for him to be a guy, right? So if that is something that they want to take back, so you're sitting out 33 million, you're taking back 28 million, or you want to take back the contract of Caleb Martin and take back less money, let's say a Gafford and a Caleb Martin. Okay, but Caleb also has another year in his deal in 26, 27, and then a player option in 27, 28. So, you're gonna have to get used to Caleb Martin, but he also has another tradable contract. So if you're the Celtics and you get back two less expensive players, I don't think it's a terrible deal, especially guys who are younger in Gafford and Washington, or even a Caleb Martin who can be like another defender, kind of a junior, low budget Derek White. Because at this point, you're going to have to get under this cap, this second apron. And, as much as, I think Jrue's contributions to the team has been great. He is 35, and you're gonna probably see a decline. So, so next year, the question is, I'm sure Jrue wants to play for chips. I'm sure Jrue would love to play for a guy like Jason Kidd. I'm sure like Drew's a very popular guy around the league, and I think in a sense he would be okay with playing for a chip or going to a situation to win. The Celtics are not going to send him to a situation where he's going to be losing. Right? Like, I just think they're going to do best by him if they have to do that, if they want to do that. And quite honestly, to take back, let's say, a Caleb Martin and a PJ Washington or a Daniel Gafford, right? Because remember, you got Anthony Davis and you got Derek Lively. So is there room there? And then you're going to have Cooper Flagg. So somebody's going to have to go in that front court in Dallas. It's likely going to be PJ Washington, because if it's me, I'm thinking Cooper Flagg starts right away, right? I mean, Cooper Flagg is starting game one. Somebody going to the bench. So I think and if they are trying to get younger, and obviously now with Cooper Flagg, with Anthony Davis, they're a team, with Davis, Kyrie coming back, they're trying to win now. Klay Thompson, they're a team that the clock is ticking, especially after trading Luka for Nico Harrison. So I think that's a team to target and to look out for, who might be able to give you something back a little cheaper and a little younger.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense for both teams. I mean, as you pointed out, Gary, Dallas, they become a little bit more, I think, impactful early on in the season, knowing that they're not going to be as complete as they want to be until after we get past the All-Star break or around that time. So it makes sense from that perspective. But the one thing about the Celtics is that Brad has been really good about this, is not only bringing guys in who can play, but bringing guys who can come in and play the way that this organization wants their guys to play. That whole talk about culture, I think is very real, particularly when you look at a team like, let's say, the Phoenix Suns, where they seem to have a lot of questions about their culture. And even when you bring in three of the best players in the game, they can't seem to play collectively together well enough to do anything other than maybe get to the play-in game. And again, that's obviously they had their issues with injuries and things like that. But the bottom line is, even when they were healthy enough, they weren't very good. So if you are the Celtics, that has to be part of the thought process, not just getting guys in who can get you financially speaking where you want to be, but guys who can actually fit into what you want to do. And I think it does help that you got a championship. And it does help that if you're working with a partner that basically you beat that ass to get that championship, they look at you a little differently. It's just like, you know what? Yeah, they are kind of nice because they handed it to us. And, the Celtics, they're going to have to reinvent themselves on the fly here. They're going to have to find ways to be a different kind of team than they were, this past couple of years when you had Tatum and you had Brown. I think they're going to need more guys who can get their own shot. They're going to need more guys who can do some things around the glass. They're going to have to lean on just second and third shot opportunities much more so than they have in the past, because not only will Tatum, be out for most, if not all of next season, but you're probably going to lose, Luke Cornett. And that Luke became a much more valuable piece to this team the further we got into the season. And so I thought I'd never hear myself say this, but they may have trouble replacing Luke Cornett. And I think the couple of guys that Gary mentioned earlier are very adequate, if not I'd say more than adequate, to fill that void. So that's, I think, the thinking if you're Brad Stevens, in large part, is just figuring out ways that you can get past this speed bump for most of next season and position yourself to where, as you get closer towards the end of the season and hopefully go into the playoffs, you got a team that's dramatically different and better at that point than they were at the start of the season. That's, I think, if you're the Celtics, that's the blueprint to really stay in the race to be one of the top tier teams in the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm. And you both mentioned various factors: his age, Jrue's age, wanting to win, the reality of the Celtics needing to get into their second apron. But how realistic is it for Jrue to be on the move as well?
Oh, well, because of his contract, because of the Celtics' desire to get under that second apron, it's very likely that Jrue will be playing for someone else next season. But, the Celtics, for the most part, they've done right by the guys that they've traded. I mean, think about Marcus Smart when they moved him. Marcus Smart is a gritty, grimy, defensive-minded player, and he goes to literally the epicenter of gritty, grimy. Hell,
he's the leader of gritty grime. Right
that's
now.
literally the moniker of the team.
Yeah.
And so that was a great situation for him. And although, some other guys, not so great situations, I think there is an effort to send guys in situations where they can be successful, be impactful, and just kind of carve out a new, opportunity for them. Look at Aaron Nesmith. I mean, you knew that he was going to get a chance to play in Indiana when they traded him there, and I don't think anyone thought he would play as much or as well as he has in these last 2-3 years. And so I think the same attitude, the same approach will be taken, with Jrue Holiday, that they will find a place that makes a lot of sense for where he's at in terms of his career and where those organizations are in terms of what they're needing from a new addition. So it's going to work out. I mean, and again, Jrue is such a pro's pro that even if it's a crappy team, even if he winds up somewhere like San Antonio, which doesn't necessarily look like a title contender, but there are things that he can do to help that team get to the playoffs, or maybe even, get to the postseason and put the fear in teams, because they have a very good player and some pretty good pieces around him. So Jrue's going to wind up in a good situation. I don't think he's going to wind up in one of the, the crappy cities and teams in the NBA. I just don't think the Celtics are going to go that route.